So it's time to put on our FiTech EFI. Now I've already had one on before, so the one I'm putting on today is the warranty replacement. So all the lines and wiring has already been done. So this should be relatively straightforward. So let's pull this off and go to town. Like so. Snip the wiring off without snipping the actual wires. That'd probably be a good thing. Like that. Concealing all this stuff is what I'm going to have to redo. So I ran a extra ground wire that goes directly to the FiTech. You'll see there's a shaved off area of the base of the EFI. So it just goes over that bolt there. So because we're running a return style fuel system, I have my lines routed up through the back. Pull that off. Like so. And of course, the other side, I don't know if you'll notice, but I have some, maybe you can see on this side, I have some heat reflection stuff just to, you know, try to keep the gas as cool as possible. How much it works beats me, at least in my application. Okay, so we're going to connect our hoses in the back. The one that's farthest to us, this is our PCV, like so. Obviously the one closest to us is for our brake booster. Like so. This one will not push on all the way because it will interfere back here. And then of course we have our vacuum hose for our vacuum advance on our distributor. Like so. So that's that part. There's a few wires right here. I'll show you if I can. Okay, these wires. So this one right here is for a 2-wire distributor. We don't use it, so I'm going to end up tying that one back and get rid of it. And then these two right here, these are for our display that routes through our dash. So here's the other end of those connections, right there. And those just route through my firewall and go into the car, obviously. So we'll do these next, which I'm going to need 2 hands for. Now from the other side, we can see how it did the rest of the wires. So here's the wires for the controller, like I mentioned. This wire down there, we can't really see. Down there. Oop. That one. That's our O2 sensor. So I just have the wire routed up to here, and then I just zip tie it to my my fuel line, which I have routed, as you can see, through the back. And next we have our main harness. I'm not even sure what this guy does. I don't remember that there before. But this one is for this guy. No, it's not. Well, my nice and easy installation just came to a sudden halt. As I said, I have already had a FiTech. This is the one that I have wired in before, used it before. And this is the new harness out of the ECU. And I'm like, this looks different, of course. And that's different. That does not go together. So, good old FiTech sent me a different one. So now I'm going to have to redo all my wiring and put this big guy back in here. Jeez. So just another delay, unfortunately. But yeah, so we're gonna have to redo all of our wiring, blah, 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 to our battery and all that stuff. So to be continued. So I had to rewire my FiTech Go EFI on the chassis side. This being the replacement EFI that I received from them on a warranty replacement. The wiring harness that's on the car side is different. So this is what I had, right? And as you can see, that does not work with these clips right here. It's actually a dual clip. It looks like on the fuel pump and the line to the battery, they've upgraded to 14 gauge from 16 gauge, so I guess that's nice. I then rerouted my lines just around here. I then have a just this loom crap just to kind of keep the wires all together. Down in the bottom there, you can see down there, that's my O2 sensor that is welded into my header collector. Also, you can see my fuel lines just to keep everything away from my headers. Battery, this line goes to the battery. I know this is weird, so don't make fun of it. That's for the EFI. That's for my fuel pump, which actually goes to my relay, which I know it's crooked, but it didn't screw in tight, and it worked out fine. Then we have our wires that come out of the fuel injection unit itself. Again, that's my ground. That is the coolant sensor right there. Again, if you didn't watch my previous video, a lot of people are having problems with these because they are junk. And this one is a replacement one. Just go to your local parts store, get one that's for a 1998 GMC K1500 5.7 liter, and it will likely work a lot better, and did for me. That is, again, my heat reflection, just because it's close to the intake manifold. Wires to the back. On the other side, for your wires, I do like to use a bit of the dielectric grease because, you know, I don't want any moisture in there rusting things out. So on the other side, this is the throttle bracket. This is an AED unit. Again, this is where I have my ball stud for my throttle cable, right? So you can get that from Jegs. I highly recommend you pick that up because, come on, focus. There we go. These things are leg savers. They're really nice. Put that back on. Make sure you have enough slack in here so it will function correctly. I do have my return spring on the bottom, so essentially 3 springs on this, and it gets quite heavy. Also, if you're going to use one of these brackets, I had to get longer studs. The ones I had, even that came with my 1-inch spacer, were not long enough, so I got some extra long ones, cut them down a little bit, and away we go. And other than that, that's how we installed it on my 454 big block Chevy. And next thing is to start it up. Well, before we can start it, we're going to do a little maintenance. Yearly deal, so new fuel filter, since we're putting on a new EFI. Oil filter. And 6 quarts. Some Joe Gibbs oil. So now that we have the FiTech installed, we're going to go through the initial setup. So first thing we'll do is turn the key into the ignition. That sound is the fuel pump priming, like so. Then we can go initial setup, engine, so 8 cylinders. Oops. Edit. 4, 6, 1. I will use cam 2. Engine rev limit. Oh yeah, you gotta hit send to ECU every time. Let's go back and make sure that actually got it. Yes. Yes. 6,000. Idle speed. So what I'm going to use is a very high idle, actually, because the I want to make sure, because it's the first start of the year, I want to have enough RPM that it's going to be able to run okay. So I'm going to even go to 1500 for now. And then back, ignition setup. So it doesn't really matter. So there's only two options here, right? So back, make sure that's saved. Okay, good. Fan. Then one option is disabled. Fan 2, disabled, because we're not running electric fans. Okay. Now we can go to the dashboard. So now that all that's set up, we can go ahead and turn it on. So here we go. So we've had it running for a couple minutes now. I've been typically holding the throttle open myself, like so, just to keep the RPMs up, since it is new valve training. I just want to keep the oil running good. You can see the coolant temperature, getting reasonably hot now. The AFR, I haven't made any target changes, so it's running to what it wants to at the moment. You can see down here, throttle position sensor, IAC steps. So when the engine is hot, we'll want that to be between 3 and 12. You can see when I'm letting off the gas, it still has it. It's got it wide open, and that sucking sound that you can hear, that's the IAC. So it's bloody noisy when you have it wide open. Of course, I don't have any filter air cleaner on it right now, so it's noisier than usual. But we'll let this thing warm up. We'll keep it warming up and let it do some learning and check things out from here. But fuel injection is installed, and thanks for watching.